know it's been a while, but we're back with me, your host, and our co-hosts, Dominic and Christian. How are you guys doing?
I've been really enjoying this NBA offseason as a Celtics fan, and everything's I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm doing good, but I'm a Sixers fan, so I'm not really doing good at the same time.
Yeah, it's
Gonna
been a
have to trade James
rough
Harden.
offseason.
It's a little tough.
As a Spurs fan, it's been a beautiful offseason. But since both of you are Eastern Conference teams, we're going to go ahead and start with the Eastern Conference, and we're just going to break it down division by division. We'll talk about each team for a little while, just because we don't want to keep this too long. But the first team, we're going to start with the Southeast, and it's going to be the Hornets. What do you guys think about the Hornets?
I mean, who doesn't like the Hornets? They're such a fun team to watch, regardless of how good they are. Watching the Hornets is always a pleasure for this time of the year, especially with the LaMelo Ball, especially. Yeah,
I totally agree. But how fun they are can only take them so far to me. And with, the looming injury history of LaMelo and Miles Bridges' situation, and it's just not a very good team in general. I have them really low ranked personally. I actually have them as the worst team in the East for this upcoming season.
Really? What about you?
Where do you have it? You seem surprised about that.
I got the Hornets as a 9 seed.
Wow.
I think that they're still a pretty good team, and if Brandon Miller does not play like preseason Brandon Miller, I feel like they could they can be a pretty good team, especially with LaMelo Ball being as good as he is. But he does get injured a lot, but if he stays healthy, I could see this team actually being really good.
And Christian, where did you have them?
So I don't have them at the 9 seed, but I also don't have them in last place. I have the Hornets coming in 12th place, so right in the middle of you two.
Okay.
I think if LaMelo Ball can stay healthy for a majority of the season, I think they can finish. I mean, he'd have to play out of his mind to crack a top 10, like the play-in tournament, but I just don't see that happening for the Hornets this year, even in a weak East. So I have them at the 12 seed right now.
All right, so we're a little all over the place with that one. Let's see if we hit something more consistent with the Magic. So I really like the Magic team. They have a bit of a log jam for their guards, but Wagner and Paolo are freaking phenomenal young players to build around. I think it will take another couple of years for them to really mesh and start to be good. So I have them at the 12 seed right now.
Okay. I think so. I have them a little higher than that. I think they actually cracked the play-in tournament as the last team, getting the 10 seed. They haven't had any major losses for their team, and they've added Joe Ingles isn't all that great, so I don't know why I started with him. But they drafted Anthony Black with the 6th pick. We can see how he turns out. I'm sure that a rookie won't launch them into playoff contention, but I think this team is a good fit with each other. I think they have good team chemistry, and I think that for that reason they're going to finish in the 10th seed.
Yeah, I got the Magic as the 8 seed because I feel like they got so many guards and stuff, but Paolo's really good. They got Wendell Carter. He's a pretty good big. And I feel like they're going to trade one of those guards or one of those young guards, and they might get something. But, I mean, that's obviously just banking on them doing that. But I feel like they will, and I feel like they already said they will. And they did have picks 6 and 11 this year, and they were pretty decent players they drafted. And so I feel like they can make it to the 8 if Paulo somehow takes a step up from what he did last year, which is pretty good. But.
So we once again have Christian in the middle, in between our takes. So the next team that we have in the Southeast is the Atlanta Hawks. And I feel like I'm going to be higher on the Hawks than either of you guys are. I have them as the 7th seed. I really like the addition of Patty Mills. I think he's kind of an underrated pickup by them because he allows for the same kind of play style that Trae Young has off of the bench as well. So there's not a dramatic shift from the starting unit to the bench unit, because obviously it's extremely hard to replace Trae Young's 3-point production. But Patty Mills has a lot of that 3-point production, and I think that'll help give him a little bit more connection between the starting unit and the bench.
Spoken like a true Spurs fan. I like it.
Patty Mills.
So I don't have the Hawks too far off from you. I have them at the 8th seed. I think they're going to play pretty well. I expect a big year from Trae Young. I know he is the most hated player in the league from a fan's perspective, but that doesn't change the fact that he's a baller. But I think they're going to finish as the 8th seed. I like that team all around. I think that they can just play good team basketball and finish. I think they could. I think they could finish as a 6th seed. I don't know what the likeliness of that happening is, but I could definitely see it. But I could also see them finishing as like the 12th seed. So it's a really turbulent prediction for the Hawks. So, but I'm putting up the 8th seed. That's where I think they're going to finish.
Yeah, I got the Hawks as the 10 seed right now, just because I think that's where they finished around last year. But I think they were 8 last year or something, 7 or 8. But they didn't really do much. I mean, they lost Aaron Holiday. That's a pretty big blow. But no, I'm kidding. They traded John Collins, which I mean is good for them in the long run. But like as a team right now, that's not really that good of a. And I feel like having like 2 point guards on your roster as like the 2 best players is a little. I know DeJounte is listed as a shooting guard, but he's more of a point guard to me than a shooting guard. So I feel like that just doesn't really work, and that's why last year they also weren't they weren't really that good either. Just cause.
Right, and both very ball dominant. If Trae Young can learn to play off ball better, I think that'll definitely help them out.
Yeah.
So next up we have the Wizards. I'm pretty low on the Wizards. I am not a fan of their roster construction at all. They went out and got Tyus Jones to be, that true point guard facilitator, but then they went ahead and got Jordan Poole as well. And Jordan Poole is the exact opposite of that. He wants the ball in his hands. He wants he wants to get his, but he's not as good as he thinks he is. And I mean, obviously losing your best 2 players with Beal and Kristaps, it's going to be another rough season for the Wizards. I don't like the roster construction, and I have them as the 13 seed.
Wow. Go ahead, Dom.
Okay. Yeah, I got the Wizards as the 14 seed right now. I don't think they're going to win. Like, they're going to be so bad. But I think they did so well, like, this offseason. They weren't going to win anything no matter what, but I think they did so well, like, trading their players, getting the most they can for them.
Oh, absolutely.
They got so many picks. They're trying to pull OKC Thunder, but and then I think Kyle Kuzma is a really good, and they re-signed Kyle Kuzma. I think he's a pretty good player. And obviously Poole, but like, I mean, if he shot anything like he did in his preseason game, it's gonna be But he's pretty inefficient all around.
Yeah. So I'm not too high on the Wizards. If I'm Washington, the thing I'm doing is I'm not signing a player. I'm not trading for a player. I'm not taking for the draft. What I'm doing is I'm going on Instagram, putting in the search bar Washington, D.C., and finding every bad bitch on that Instagram page and putting them in the stands for the Washington Wizards game. Because God knows they're not selling tickets, right? God knows that the Washington Wizards aren't filling the stands. So why don't we just fill the empty seats with very beautiful women so that Jordan Poole drops 45 every fucking night? With that being said, I have the Wizards as the 15th seed.
Yeah.
All of that build up.
I really just don't see the Wizards being good at all. I think they just need to not if they forfeit every game, I feel like that'd be a better thing than just playing the season out, because you're guaranteeing yourself the first overall pick, because everybody in the world knows, and their mother knows, that you're not making the playoffs. So just throw the season away, forfeit every game, I have the Wizards in the 15th seed.
Well, I think they would be the 1 seed if they did your strategy.
The Jordan Poole.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why they need to get me in the box office for the what box office, is that the right term?
Front office.
Front office. For the Washington Wizards. Honestly, bro, that's what I'm doing. It's so easy. Just put in DC with the pinpoint. Everyone knows the bad bitches use that emoji. The DC pinpoint, and you're gonna find at least 1,000 women that could easily fill the stands.
Courtside.
Yep.
Fair enough. And with the final team in the Southeast Division, we have the Miami Heat. I'm not a huge fan of this Heat team. I think they missed their window, and I think they hugely missed out on not getting Damian Lillard. And I think that's going to really show this year as their roster keeps aging. On the bright side, you have Tyler Hero, who's going to keep getting better, hopefully. But, Jimmy Butler is going to will his team into the 6th seed to me, and they'll probably be a first-round exit.
Yeah, go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, okay. I got the Heat as a 3 seed.
Wow.
But, I like Tyler Hero. I think he's going to take a big offensive step this year. But they did. They lost some of their inconsistent, like Max Strus. He was pretty inconsistent for them. They lost some of those guys, Max Strus, and then Gabe Vincent. But
sorry,
I think Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, still really good. One defensive player of the year candidate. Tyler Hero, if he takes a step, I think they could still be the 3 seed.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that the Heat are gonna be booty cheeks this year, but I'm never gonna count Jimmy buckets out, so I have them at the 5 seed, and the Heat just aren't a regular season team. Like every single one of their players gets takeover for the whole playoffs, so they just ball out. But in the regular season, they're literally playing like they just swept the floor at the local middle school. Like they don't play like they're basketball players. They don't look like basketball players. But they always find a way to sneak into the playoffs and then ball the hell out. I could see them like literally getting the 10th seed and then getting the 8th seed and then winning like the East. But for the playoffs, I have them. For the regular season, I have them in the 5th seed just to average it out because I'm never going to count on the Heat.
Yeah, they'll find a way to make it to the playoffs for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that concludes the Southeast. So we're moving on to the Central, to the Pacers. And, one of my favorite point guards in the NBA with Hallie. I have a really hard time with this team because I like the team. I love Halliburton. They have a lot of solid players on the team, but I have them just missing out on the play-in as the 11 seed. I would not be shocked at all if they go as high as like the 9 seed, honestly. But I think they're still missing 1 or 2 guys. Bruce Brown is a really good addition, but we're really going to see if that's due to the Nuggets in their system, or if he is a legit guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got the Pacers pretty low. I got them as the 13 seed.
Wow.
I like Halliburton. Halliburton's really good. He's one of the top point guards in the league. He can pass. He can shoot. He can do everything. But I don't know. That roster, just besides him, is just not really Miles Turner's good, but he's pretty injured all the time. And I don't know, some of the other, I just don't think they really have that many good players surrounding him to really do much this season. But hopefully that changes soon because Halliburton's really talented, so he deserves it.
Yeah, so I have the Pacers higher than both of you, but I actually have them as the 9 seed. I don't think if we were talking 3 years ago they'd make the playoffs with but with the new play-in structure, I could definitely see them sneaking into the playoffs as a 7th or 8th seed. Or I don't think the 7th is possible, so the 8th seed. But I think this is going to be a great year for Halliburton. I think he's set up with like all the tools to just go off. Besides great teammates, so with that being said, I think they squeak into the 9 seed. But I could also see them not being that good, as you guys are saying. But I think I think this is going to be a good year for the Pacers, better than most people are expecting.
Moving on to the next team in the Central is the Bulls. I don't know how to feel about where I put them. I put them as the 8 seed. But it's like, what did they really do? They didn't really add or lose anybody of real significance. They hitched their wagon to Vooch re-signing him, which I hate as a move. And they're banking on Kobe White taking a next step. Meanwhile, the roster is aging and not a lot of guys who can make a huge next step. They're a play-in team. I can't imagine them any higher than a play-in team. 8 might even be a little high. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, I put the Bulls as the 14 seed.
Oh,
I
are
don't.
you expecting a trade?
They don't have Lonzo.
Are you predicting an injury?
I expect them to. Lonzo's out. I think they're gonna trade Levine, and I feel like they're gonna have to blow it up because DeMar DeRozan is not. He's getting up there in age. He's really old. He's not. I feel like he's gonna take a big step down. And Zach LaVine, like I feel like they're gonna try to trade him and get as much for him as possible. I feel like they messed up, and they now they have to try to fix themselves. And they traded a couple picks this year. I mean, they were second-round picks. They don't really mean anything, but they're trying, but they're not really doing good at all.
Yeah, well, this will probably be our biggest difference in picks because you have them as a 14th seed. I have them as the 7th seed. I think if the Bulls I feel like I'm like kind of pre-coping saying like this with every single one of my predictions, but I do think the Bulls could be worse. But like, I just think that the Bulls aren't gonna miss the playoffs. Going to be bad because like when you have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine playing healthy basketball, I mean, I don't see them missing the playoffs. I actually see them being, pretty good. But with the Bulls, they are a very injury-ridden team.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just depends on how healthy they stay. But if they stay healthy, like I would never predict an injury. I think they're gonna finish as the 7th seed.
Yeah, I can see it though. But
yeah, I think Bulls predictions are definitely all over the place.
14th and 7th is crazy.
Yeah, it's a hard team to predict. They're very mid.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. But next up, we have the Pistons, and I feel really bad about my placement for them. I have them as the 14th seed.
Damn.
But I love a lot of players on the roster, and if they can stay healthy, like Cade Cunningham, he can be an absolute stud if he can stay healthy. Jaden Ivey, I love, and I expect him to take a really nice step forward. Asor Thompson should be pretty solid. We'll see how much use he gets as like a third option on the team, maybe even fourth because Jalen Duran.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as a mesh year for them, and I think they can be really good in a year or two. But with just the injuries to Cade and everything, and really getting that chemistry built up, I have them as the 14 seed.
Yeah.
I do like their direction.
No hate on this. I got them as a 6 seed right now. I think Cade Cunningham.
Yo, are you okay, bro?
Cade Cunningham.
Did you mistype?
Bro, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duran, Jaden Ivey. They got Joe Harris. They got Monty Moore.
Dude, these people were in diapers 3 years ago.
Bro, it doesn't matter. I feel like they're going to make it. The Pistons last season at the end, Cade Cunningham was balling out if he does that again. Jalen Duran's 19 years old. He's a baller. Asar Thompson, he's a really good player.
He's not Jason Tatum, bro. He's not Jason Tatum.
I know he's not Jason Tatum, but I think the Pistons really got it this year. I feel like they can go far, take one of the big leaps. I don't think they're going to do anything in the playoffs.
Dude, you're out of your fucking mind because you said before you even said the take. No hate for this. 6 seed, dude. The Pistons, Detroit.
Where do you got them, Christian?
I have them as the 14th seed where they should be on Dom's list. I don't. When you look at all the teams that are in contention for the worst teams in the East, you look at the Wizards, you look at the Raptors, you look at the Hornets, you look at the Nets, you look at the Magic, right? You look at all these teams and you say which teams are better than which teams. And the only team that I can confidently say the Pistons are better than are the Wizards. And even though I can confidently say that it's not by a mile. So it's closer than people think. For all the other teams I just listed, the Nets, the Hornets, the Raptors, I don't see the Pistons beating them more than they do. Like if they play 10 games together, I don't see the Pistons winning most of those games. But with the way the roster's set up, being so young, so inexperienced in the NBA, I can't give this team the credit that they probably deserve. But with that being said, I have them at the 14th seed. 6th seed is wild.
Nah, dude, I think they got a good roster. I feel like you're just kind of hating on them a little bit.
No, I think you are.
I think you're a year
on
early.
your knees, mouth wide open for them. So,
Nah, dude, they got a good roster.
No, they don't. Better
Yes,
than
they do.
dude. You put okay. So you're saying that the Chicago Bulls, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, are better. Are what 8 seeds worse? 8 positions in the East worse than the Cade Cunningham. I don't even know who the hell other you list.
Bogdanovich, Ivy.
Yeah. So you're saying that the Bulls are 8 seeds worse than them?
Yeah.
You're out of your. I don't know what crack you are smoking, but you need to go tip your drug dealer right now. You need to go outside and give him a $3 bill for the shit he just sold you, because it is working, my friend.
Well, we're gonna have to visit this at the end of the season, and I'm gonna tell you that I was right.
And I'm gonna laugh in your face when they're literally the 15th seed, worse than I thought.
Some team that I know is going to be reaching the playoffs. Next up is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm really high on them. They should just be continuing to mesh together and grow. I have them as the 3 seed. I don't think there's any question that this team is a playoff team.
No.
They didn't make any splashy moves in the offseason. Just little additions, little losses. The biggest signing was Max Strus, which I think the contract will age meh. I don't think he will.
Listen, if he plays like he was in Long Beach, bro. Long Beach, is that Miami? That's California.
No.
Okay.
Miami.
South Beach.
South Beach. If he's playing like he was in South Beach, bro, that's a good signing. That is a really good signing if he's playing like that. But
I agree.
But with that being said, like Miami's coaching is out of their mind. They make any white boy look like Larry Bird.
Yes, and the history of players moving off of Miami, they have not been as good when they have left Miami, which is what worries me for it. But if he plays like he did in Miami, good signing, very good signing, and I have them as the 3rd seed.
As someone, you going or?
Yeah, I'll go. I have the Cavaliers not too far off. I have them as the 4th seed. I just think there's 3 better. They could very well finish as the 3 seed. I don't see them cracking 1 or 2. But they are a very well-rounded team that were very good last year, and their chemistry is only growing because they haven't had any major losses. So I don't see a world where this team is below the 5th seed. With that being said, I think the 4th seed is the perfect placement for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got them at the 4 too. I think the Max Strus signing was not really that good. He's decent, but I feel like he's too inconsistent for that much money. I like Georges Niang now. He was really good for the Sixers. He was like kind of lights out and stuff. Like when he was on the court, he was really good. But Amani Bates, I feel like, is actually going to be a really good pickup in the.
Bro, did you just watch his mixtape or something?
No, dude, he's been kind of cooking a little bit. And I picked 49. Like he kind of fell. Like he's been pretty good.
Overhyped, overrated.
I feel like that's not too bad of a pickup. I feel like the Heat. I got them as the 4 seed right now, though. As well.
Unrelated, but Christian McCaffrey just got a touchdown.
Nice.
Well, actually, I think them losing Lamar Stevens is the worst loss in NBA history. I think if there's any reason they'd miss the playoffs, it's because they lost Lamar Stevens.
I can't argue with that at all. Next up, we got another team that is a bona fide playoff team, the Bucks. I mean, they had easily the biggest move of the offseason, landing Damian Lillard, and I think that resurrected their championship hopes. You know, it was kind of dwindling with, especially because of how Chris Middleton didn't really recover the way I thought he was going to from his injuries. I mean, you know, this takes one of the worst half-court offenses last year and instantly puts them as a top 10 half-court offense with Dame Giannis pick and rolls are going to be insane. It's going to be unstoppable. And I have them as my 1 seed. I imagine they'll get off to a rough start figuring each other out. But, man, once they figure each other out, it is going to be a hard team to stop.
Yeah. I got them as the 2 seed, though. I feel like the Celtics are going to be a better regular season team than them. But they re-signed Chris Middleton to so much money after last season. That's a little crazy. But Brook Lopez is back.
What's crazy about it?
What?
What's crazy about
Yeah, that's just a lot of money for. I mean, he kind of had his worst season as a Buck last year. He was pretty. Yeah, he didn't really have that good of a season.
Dude, he'd be the first option on most teams, bro.
On most teams.
On most teams.
First option.
First option.
All right, dude. I think that was just a crazy contract. They lost Javon Carter, big blow. They got Adrian Griffin. I mean, from the Raptors. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know ball, but I'm not really familiar with the game. But I could see him as a 2 seed this season.
Yeah, I was giving you crap about Chris Middleton, but I actually agree with you. I think they're going to finish as a 2 seed. No shocker, who's my 1 seed? We'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, I like this Bucks team. There's zero unless Giannis Antetokounmpo gets injured while being a freak in the bedroom. Then they're finishing as a top 2 seed. They're going to be a tough team to face come playoffs, very much.
And that finishes the Central Division. So that brings us over to the Atlantic, and the first team that we're going to cover in the Atlantic is going to be the Nets. I have the Nets as a 10 seed. I don't think they're really deserved any higher than that. We saw how bad they were after they kind of blew up the team in the middle of the year last year. And not necessarily blew up, but obviously downgraded from fucking Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They're an okay team, and they especially showed that in the playoffs when they played a good team. Mikal, he is primed for a breakout. I love Nick Claxton. I think he's one of the most underrated defenders in the league. Dorian Finney-Smith is also a phenomenal defender, one of the best switch defenders in the league, but they don't really have a dog who can score outside of Mikal Bridges. I feel like they're probably going to have a top 10 defense at the end of the season with a bottom 10 offense, and they're going to end up as a 10 seed.
Yeah. I got the Nets as the 8 seed right now. They got, obviously, Mikal Bridges is really good. He was a really good scorer. He's a good defender last year. He plays every single game. He doesn't miss games. He's not really an injury type of guy. So he'll be there. Then they got Nick Claxton is really good. They re-signed Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson was pretty good. I feel like if Ben Simmons can actually play this year, he adds to that really good defense that the Nets already have. And then they still have Dinwiddie too. Forgot about him, but he's a pretty decent scorer. Yeah, they got a pretty good team. I could see him being a bubble, like a bubble playing team.
Yeah, so I have the Nets. I wrote a note next to the Nets, and that note, the only word that said it that's in the note is underrating them, and that's because I put them as the 11th seed. I think that this Nets team could very well make the playoffs or the play-in and get into the playoffs. But when you're looking at the teams that they're facing for a play-in spot, you're looking at the Bulls, you're looking at the Hawks, you're looking at the Pacers. I don't think this Nets team on paper is better than any of these teams. Do I think they could beat them? Absolutely. But right now I need to put them at the 11th seed because I just don't see them, really making a splash.
Yeah, so it sounds like we all have them around the bubble area. And this next one, I will let Christian kick off because it is his Celtics. Go ahead and take it away.
Oh man, do I love the Celtics. I have the Celtics at the 1 seed, very obviously. With the addition of Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis to our starting lineup, if they play like they have in their past, I don't think there could be any team to stop us in the regular season. I think the Celtics are probably going to be one of the best regular season teams. When it comes to the playoffs, I don't have as much faith because we are known to not play as well in the playoffs. So for the regular season, I do have them as the 1 seed. I'm very excited to watch this team. I can't wait to see what Kristaps can do, what Drew Holiday can do. But I'm never going to be the person to put 100% faith in my sports team, even though I do have them as the 1 seed. I think there are teams that could easily be better than them, especially comes playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I personally have the Celtics as the 2 seed. Obviously, I just said I have the Bucks as the 1 seed, but I can very easily see the Celtics being the 1 seed as well. I mean, I think the biggest turning point is definitely the addition of Kristaps, especially because he came off of his healthiest season since he was a Knick last season, right? And, some of his games played might look a little flubbed because the Wizards were trying to tank at the end of the year. But he was really healthy. He was really good. And not having to be a number 1, number 2 option is going to really help him out as well. And he can just he hasn't had that opportunity in his entire career. He was a number 1 with the Knicks. He was a number 2 with the Mavs, number 1/2 with the Wizards. Not a lot of pressure will be on him. He'll be able to be really good defensively. And I think him and Al Horford on the court at the same time is going to be absolutely disgusting in a closing lineup.
Yeah, they got so much opportunity to space the floor. And oh my god, dude, that team is crazy. But they did lose the heart and soul of the Boston Celtics, Marcus Smart. I feel like that kind
You're
of
gonna
sucked.
make
But I feel like all Boston fans are upset about that. They lost Grant Williams. Yeah.
I'm not too upset about that.
But they also did lose, Big Rob, or not Boston Rob, bro. What the hell am I saying? I meant,
What is this, Survivor, bro? What the hell?
I didn't even watch that show. I didn't even really watch that season, but I meant Robert Williams. They lost Robert Williams, which I think is a pretty good piece. I think he's gonna be next up. He's gonna be a really good big man. But I mean, when you got Kristaps Porzingis, you're not really gonna miss
It's worth
Robert
it, yeah.
Williams that much. It's worth it. Kristaps can shoot the 3. He can get the rebounds. He's tall. He's like a little bit of a better Robert Williams for now.
Yeah, our loss of Survivor legend Boston Rob is going to be a big loss. But
but I never even said I do have the Celtics as the 1 seed because I think they're I think they're going to be the best regular season team in the entire league this year. Much as I hate to say it.
So next up, we have our other co-hosts. We have the 76ers. And Dom, you can take it away to start with this one.
Oh, God, dude. So, obviously, Joel Embiid MVP last year. I feel like
didn't deserve it.
I don't know. Yeah, he didn't deserve it. Nick Nurse. I like the Nick Nurse edition with Pat Bev. I feel like, that's just going to boost the defense a lot. No draft picks this year. No draft picks. Not one single pick. We lost Georges Niang, Shake Milton. We lost a lot of the bench. We got B-Ball Paul back, at least. James Harden's going to want to leave.
Wait, what's it? Who?
Paul Reed, bro.
You call him B-Wall Paul?
Yeah,
B-Ball Paul. That's his nickname. B-Ball Paul.
I've never heard that before.
No ball. Yeah, but James Harden's gonna want to leave, and we're gonna get we're not even gonna get a Terrence Mann and 1 first-round pick package back for him. So we're kind of fucked. I feel like. So I have the Sixers as the 5 seed just because I feel like they're still gonna do good. Joel Embiid does his thing in the regular season. Maxi's there. Tobias Harris is there. I feel like they still have a team good enough to do good, make the playoffs. But I could see them getting out in the first round very easily if James Harden still sits out and we didn't trade him. So,
yeah, I also have them as the 5 seed. I mean, the team only got worse by, James Harden doing his whole thing. When he's traded, it's not you're not going to get anything remotely close to his value, and that's going to really hurt the Sixers. The only bright side is that it does give Maxey a whole lot more run.
Uh-huh.
I love Maxey, and we'll be able to really see what he can do as the true second option. But I mean, losing Harden is just really tough, especially for the regular season.
I know. Yeah. Sucks.
I have the Sixers as the 3 seed,
Wow.
higher than both of you. Wow, like, you're acting like the Sixers are a bad team. Like, okay, they're not great, but they're gonna get value out of Harden. If that value is in draft picks, I could see them not being as great. But if they get value player wise, then the Sixers can finish as the 3 seed. Like, that is not a wild take. Joel Embiid is a dog, no matter how much he didn't deserve that last MVP. In the regular season, Joel Embiid could drop 40 on any given 40 fucking 15 on any given night. So I have the Sixers as a 3 seed. They're not a better team than the Celtics or the Bucks, but
No.
when you look at the other contenders, they're around the Cavs, the Heat, the Knicks. The only team I can see being better than them is either the Knicks or the Cavs, but I think the Sixers beat them out of the regular season.
And next up, we have the Raptors. I fucking hate the Raptors. Just to put it bluntly, I mean, they're the most incompetently managed team in basketball right now. Right next to the Bulls, very close behind them in second place for the most incompetently run team. They're doubling down on a roster that's going to win 40 games and get them either out in the play-in or first round of the playoffs. You know, they're doubling down by re-signing people like Jakob Poeltl. This team had to blow up this offseason. I'm a firm believer in that. They're going to be the 9 seed, and they're going to do absolutely nothing, get a mediocre draft pick, and continue to be mediocre for the foreseeable future unless they blow up the team at the deadline.
Yeah, I got the Raptors as the 12 seed because they Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and like that's kind of it. Like, I got Dennis Scrotum at point guard, starting point guard.
Don't
That is
disrespect
not
Siakam.
going to win you games. Grady Dick they just drafted him. I feel like he could probably be good. But besides that, like, this team is awful, dude. Oh my god. Like, I don't they don't have anything going for them ever. So
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that the Raptors are straight booty cheeks this year. I mean, you know that the NBA isn't going to write a script that has Grady Dick being a good player. In every world that we live in, he is a bust, and we make fun of his name for the rest of eternity. And I just can't see them being good. So I have them as the 13th seed.
And last but not least, to round out the East, that was a little rhyme. Anyways, we have the Knicks.
You are not Eminem, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of spit right there. But we have the Knicks. I'm pretty high on the Knicks. I have them as a 4 seed. And I say high lightly because I am high on them as a regular season team. Because they will never accomplish anything with their roster construction in the playoffs. But I mean, they'll do what they do, you know, for the past 2-3 years now. They'll win enough games to get bounced in the first round, and that's about it.
yeah, I got them as a 7 seed right now. I think their roster is pretty good, but Julius Randle one night is literally Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and the next night he's Greg Oden. He's so inconsistent, like, it's crazy. Especially in the playoffs, though, he's always bad, and so they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. But Jalen Brunson, I mean, they got a really good team, especially if, like, the Joel Embiid Knicks rumors, something ever happens about that. Like, they're obviously going to be, like, one of the best teams, but until then, they're still not going to do really much. I don't feel like so.
Yeah, the best shot that the Knicks have is making a time machine, throwing Julius Randle back into that game where he broke his leg and then doing it again. Because they should just.
That's wild.
God damn.
They're just. I don't believe in the Knicks because they'll just never get it done in the playoffs. I don't care how much that Madison Square Garden, overrated by the way, will. I don't care how hyped they are. I don't care how full the Madison Square Garden is. The Knicks will never be in contention for the 2024 NBA championship, and that is a fact. With that being said, I have them at the 16 because they're gonna make the playoffs because Julius Randle is gonna go off for 20 of the 82 games and get him into the fucking playoffs. But other than that, the Knicks are gonna nick. They're not gonna be good. They haven't been good since Patrick Ewing. Just give up, Knicks fans.
And if you liked what you heard today and you want to know more about some NPCE content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Learn more about us. Other than that, guys, you guys take care.